Hello everybody, today I'm going to be sharing a real side dream experience from my book Chronicles of a Cosmic Space Case. The PDF link to this book and book 3 of my real side experiences are in the links below the description of this video. Dream 34. A grand performance. This was again a very intense and vivid experience. It was again all impressions, and so falls the task of bringing the impressions back from the real side to the physical and converting them into a literal narrative that can be relayed. Not always easy, it can be said. I was under the watchful eye of Dwayne, or a real guide. I'm uncertain as to which, or it may have been Dwayne and a guide both. Again, it was all impressions. And again, I can discern them as the genuine beings, as their awareness affords them a tremendous, undeniable presence, like a real light aura of the all is, that no clone, hologram, or shape-shifting fakester can replicate. Anyway, the experience was very vivid, as I say, but it was rather the difficulty fathoming out and literalizing what was going on. Seems I was being given the floor to display creational manipulating ability, as far as I could tell, but on a far vaster scale than ever before. We can all manipulate creation. We do it every day. Our wants and desires are projections that bring us what we seek. Unfortunately, in creation, our manipulation of it as a reflective bubble for our needs has with it the cause and effect principle, which has us restricted and stuck in creation resultingly. In the real universes of the 7th level, manipulation occurs without cause and effect, and in the all is, there is no need for free will manipulation, as everything is, and we can't add anything to that, or we cannot be with it. If one is standing in the new nowness of the is anywhere in creation, and what they manipulate is of a benefit for awareness of oneself or others, then this will not carry cause and effect consequences any longer, as our real intent is set, and the karma is absent consequently. So maybe then, in the new nowness of the is, wherever I was in this RealSide experience, I was being allowed to perform a grand manipulation. The impression was for no other reason than simply for practice purposes, but evidently, if it is perhaps a prelude to things to come down the line of potentially a beneficial awareness enhancing nature, then it wouldn't be a frivolous cause and effect inducing exercise. Besides, I was with the guides and Dwayne, so all was well. Seems I was somewhat unprepared for my demonstration, as though it were expected of me, but somehow I hadn't been aware of it until this moment, and was rather put on the spot. Possibly I had been briefed as to the upcoming exercise, but perhaps inadvertently slipped out of the degree of awareness required to recognize this, and so I had literally forgotten. My real self knew, but the message lost in translation. My personal self dropping the real self letter down a drain by accident or something. Anyway, so here I was, with no preparation, but I proceeded. It seems I had the liberty of deciding the nature of my performance, and executing it any way I wanted. I at least knew the degree of magnitude expected of my manipulation, and seemed I knew how to do it too. My real self at the wheel, or the little personal self, if present more so, wouldn't know what was going on, or how to do what was to come next. I created what I can only describe as a universe. It was such a vivid experience too. I brought forth stars and star systems. I created spiraling galaxies and solar systems of planets, bringing it all to life and exacting all the electromagnetic laws I chose to mesh it all together. It was all rather fascinating. Seems I simply could do this, and maybe my creation was enough, but a little of my personal self crept in, almost a tiny glimmer of ego, perhaps the want to impress. I was adding ideas then to my real self, standing with the is state of being, and so my perfect created universes, that was a reflection of my real beingness, with nothing added, which should have sufficed as my demonstration, became something else. In my tiny whiff of arrogance, I created an anti-universe, everything opposite to that of my other universe. The matter that comprised each would be completely opposed to each other. My objective was to bring both universes together, and should I do so, they would both be completely destroyed. However, as I would bring these opposing universes into proximity with each other, I was creating a third. The third universe was of such a design and electromagnetic structure that it would almost neutralize the harmful effects each universe would cause to the other, almost as a buffer, and so I believed I could bring then all three universes together, merge them, and they would become one. But at this point, as I say, my personal self had crept in and had added to what would be my perfect, absolute demonstration. A demonstration that can only be so if I stood 100% with my real self and the ease. And I had thus miscalculated, and everything became quite the mess, and descended into a chaos. A guide stepped in and dispelled my creation, and it was no more. I stood before the guide, or Dwayne, or both, or several of them, standing like rather a naughty schoolboy, having stolen the teacher's apple or something. One of the guides was a little stern, I remember, and I received a breakdown of what I did and how it went wrong, and the interjection of my personal self that caused the problem. And yes, I should have stopped with the initial universe, but was trying to impress them. And this idea, this want to impress, and the hint of ego that was another idea activated, did indeed have me not entirely with my real being-isness, and this was exemplified in the result. There was much dialogue, but it's not always easy to recall it all, or bring it all back to the physical life level and make sense of it, to literalize it into words that can be expressed. One guide a little stern, but the others seemed more amused, and all in all, another new experience for me. Certainly a comparison between physical level mundane dreariness and experiences with all the filters of the psych realms and the layers of ideas that encapsulate them removed.